welcome Torga Janic to teach us today about email sequences, the value that it can bring to a business, and why email sequences are so essential to not just the pre-sale process, but also the post-sale process to build value and brand loyalty. So, Torga, welcome. I appreciate you coming here today to teach us about email sequences, and take it away.
Thank you, Shenandoah. Yes, my name is Torch. I'm actually from Germany, and I've been involved into online marketing and especially email marketing since 2011. So, and one of the recent projects I was co-founding is Email to Reviews, where we actually review email marketing software and go way into the depths of email marketing software and the possibilities. And yeah, I'm gonna share you some knowledge about email marketing and especially about the topic email sequences. So the first questions is, what are email sequences actually? And what it is, well, there are some different definitions about it, but basically email sequences are a series of emails sent based on preset time intervals or trigger-based automations. Or in another way said, it's a process of sending people emails at a different stage as they move through the sales funnel. So the sales funnel is basically like someone's coming through the site, and the question is, what happens in between until they buy something. So instead of what a lot of people do when we talk about email marketing or like emails, is that they send out newsletter over and over, like maybe once a week, maybe once a month. This is what people usually do, and they either promote something or share something or talk about something. And you prepare like a newsletter like once a week, spend some hours to do that and send it out. And you do it over and over again. And it takes every week some time or every month some time. And the difference between like normal email newsletter and email sequence is that you prepare an automated email sequence with a certain goal to send out to your prospect when they sign up for your email newsletter. So instead of every week, let's say, like here I made like a very small but super cool sequence. Let's say they sign up here at the first part, landing pages, get a free freebie, free whatever, and they get to your thank you page, they confirm something, and what you then do is you prepare an email sequence. And depending on which topic you choose, it's always different. An email sequence where, well, if we are in the cannabis industry, for example, we might talk about what the benefits of a certain product or a certain way of using cannabis or so. And you're going to talk about this, give some people some knowledge, for example. Maybe some topics about email. One could be like, you tell them something. On the next email, you tell them some more depth and knowledge about something specific about cannabis or whatever. And you do this maybe 2 or 3 times. And then at the end of the day, you can offer them something, because now after a few emails, they get to know you a little bit better than not knowing you at all. And this can lead to a sale just by, or whatever your goal is. Actually, it doesn't need to always to be a sale, but whatever your goal is. And the point is here that you don't write this every single day for these people, but you prepare these emails. The person is coming into your email funnel, get a few emails, and then you can sell them whatever you want to sell them or whatever you want to offer them based on, and you warm them up basically based on the previous emails. So and so this is an example of, or like a very, very basic example of what we in the email marketing industry call product launch formula, which is one of the most known sequences, yeah, where you basically try to sell email through email marketing, basically. And the question is, why would I use email sequences? Why should you use email sequences? Well, one of the main benefits is you set it up once and then you forget about it. Well, it's not completely true, but because if you're a professional email marketer, you want to twist this here and there, and you want to optimize it, and you want to do some things like to make it to make some better sales or to increase conversion rate. But basically, the idea is you set it up once, and the person get email and email and email over and over and over. And it's a one-time task for you to do. So you actually save some money, not only money, but also time, because you only set it up once and not for every single person multiple times. So one of the biggest benefits of email sequences are that you can really laser target your audience depending on triggers and interactions. Yeah. So depending on how your prospect or your subscriber interact with you, if the person is clicking on a link on the email, if they are reading it, if they are doing something in whichever way, you can send them very, very specific like offers which are specifically for them. And this is one of the, for me, who have been into the market, I've seen a lot of things. This is one of the biggest benefits of email marketing, and especially email sequences. Yeah, that you can, depending on what they want, send some videos, some ebooks, some special information, some webinars, whatever. So it's actually a journey. It's actually a journey for subscribers to become your customer, or eventually even a raving fan of you, just because you are able to target them very specifically and give them exactly what they want. So how do I figure out who should be sent an email sequence? Well, that's a good question, and it depends on your goals. And honestly, in a perfect world, I would say you should target everyone in general, but it can get complicated, honestly. So the idea is, I'm gonna show you some more practical things, like how to make your email sequence in a way that you can target different people with different goals, and hopefully make more sales, or whatever your goal is. So when we are talking about email marketing, I would say in general about marketing, the first step is to set goals and to define some stages and some goals in your pipeline, so to say. So the question to you is like, are you selling online courses? Do you sell some certain products? Maybe you want to sell, if you're in the cannabis industry, some specific type of hash, or some specific type of things you can use for smoking cannabis. Maybe you want to upsell a product. And yeah, for everything which you want to sell, everything you want to have a focus on, a spotlight on, in your online shop, or in your whatever, if you're a trainer or like a coach or something like this, you want to sell some courses or some whatever, outside of the online world, some teachings, you can, and actually you should, create a specific campaign for each relevant product or product category what you have. So first, define your goals. What do you want to achieve? Which products you want to sell? Then I would recommend you to make yourself the decision of like what kind of sequences you want to create. Yeah, there are different types of sequences for different purposes, for different goals. Well, there are some sequences where you could make a sequence for if someone's just signed up for your newsletter. This is what we had before, where we had like someone signed up for the newsletter, and then we make some topics here, and at some point we can sell them something. So there are some other things like, hey, if someone is in your online shop and didn't purchase it, even for that you can make a sequence. If someone, like a re-engagement sequence is a sequence where you try to re-engage people who have been in your email list but they don't interact with you, you can try to reactivate them and get you into the sales funnel again, into your email funnel again. You could try to do some upsells. If someone bought something from you, and you can try to put it on top of something. You can also use sequences for example, cold outreach, yeah, and for lead nutrition sequences, for example, that you nurture them and give them some value until you have some new products you want to sell to them, or you have some webinars, some online trainings, or something that also needs some email sequence. These are just like some examples. There are way more, but there are different types. So when you're making a decision of like, what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? What type do you want to do? Like, where do you want to get in? And very often it's the welcome sequences where you try to get people in from the newsletter to that they sell something. But be aware that there are also a lot of other sequences you can use. And it's nothing complicated. It's just like for you to say, this is an upsell sequence, and this is a welcome sequence, and this is where I want to someone. It's just like your definition of it, and you can name it a different way if you want to. In emails, what I love about emails, and what is probably one of the things which I just love to do, and which really makes email marketing so powerful, is to segment customers in the segments and in tags. This is a definition in the email marketing scene, that you can basically put a stamp and say, oh wow, this guy, he just bought my product. He got now the tag of, hey, bought my product, whatever that product is. So or like you can, and depending on the segmentation and the tags you are doing, you can do a lot of crazy stuff, honestly. Because, and this is what we talk about when we talked before about this laser targeting, that you can really begin to focus on and segment people based on how they behave, where they are from, what they bought, which website they were reading, which content they were downloading, what webinar they attended, and so on and so on and so on. And based on that, you can really become very specific and say, for example, please let me know everyone who is who bought this and this product and is coming from this area, and also was looking at my website about also some similar product. Then you know this person might be interested in this specific topic or this specific product, and you might be able to send only to these people some specific products just for them. For example, if we think about cannabis, well, I'm not so aware of this cannabis industry, but if there is maybe some vaporizer, yeah, very simple, you want to sell, oops, then and there's someone from a specific area, you can say, hey, we have a special offer. And they also was reading about vaporizers, and then you can make a special offer for different type of vaporizer, which is especially good for this and that. Yeah. And this is what I personally, who've been into this industry for quite a while, I just love it. So what I usually do, and I go to the old-fashioned way of not being so much online at that stage, is I like to create a workflow chart on a paper, on Post-it. You can also use software. My personal preference is using Post-its, actually, because this is like a thinking process. So it's like you're thinking about an email campaign, how to reach people and how to engage them and how to sell it to them. So I'm going into this, and I made like a short screenshot of a paper I recently did, where, and usually I do Post-it, so it's a very, very, very simple one, but where we have like a welcome email, and you make them thought, okay, what can happen with it? Okay, they can either open it or they cannot open it. So what do you do next? Okay, when they open it, they will get the next email. What will be the next email about? Make yourself some ideas, a list of, okay, what would be the next topic about? And the next topic and the next topic. It's that straightforward that you just make yourself, like I like to write, I like to paint myself. I like to use Post-its to drag them and go from one place to another place. But you can also just write it down if you want. It's not that complicated. It's a process of thinking you through this whole process. So okay, there's a person getting my first email. They open it. Okay, they get the next email maybe the next day, or maybe 2 days after, and you can split test that. We will come through this. And if they don't open it, what do you do next? Well, then we can try to, for example, resend the same email to them, maybe with a different angle or slightly different subject line or something like this, to see if they engage. This is something which I learned works pretty well, just to resend the same email when they didn't open for some time. Just a small pro tip. But you can also try to get them into, okay, there's someone who's not opening my emails. Well, I will try to send them an extra email. But if they don't open, then I will get them into a new campaign, which could be a re-engagement campaign. And then you can make a new campaign based on, oh, okay, well, for example, oh, you haven't seen my emails, please rejoin me, and I give you some benefits, some offers, some whatever. So this would be like, you can put them into a new campaign, so to say. And this is why it's important to make the pre-work. Yeah, like if you have some goals, and if you know like in which segments and in which text you can get them in, you can say, okay, cool. Let's say my first email in cannabis is about, like, I'm writing about the special new cannabis sort, and they are in a very special way. And I have a blog article, for example, about it. and you can see, hey, some people were clicking on this link to the blog article about this new cannabis plant or whatever topic there is. And you can see, okay, they clicked on this, so they might be interested in that topic. So I can tag them and say, all right, they are now also in this list. They are not only getting the next email, but they are now also tagged and targeted, basically. And you can then think about some new campaigns in the future at some point. But for now, we can go to the next email and send them some new information, blog article, white paper, whatever. And I would suggest not to do like, you want to sell people not too late something to them, because, and we will come through it later, but basically because every time you send an email, a certain person opens the email. Let's say 60% opens the email, maybe only 30%, depends on the market, depends on how close you are. That means if there are 60% opening your email, only 40% will not open it and will not get the next email. Over time, this will get lower and lower and lower and lower, this amount of people who get the next and the next and the next email. And that's why it's important to not to wait too long to sell them something, actually. So in the classical product launch formula, which we talked a little bit about in the beginning, they recommend, or like Jeff Walker, who is the founder of it, or the person who was inventing it, he's talking about 3, maybe 4 emails before you send them a special offer. And all these emails beforehand, you want to target, so they are the preparation for the sale. But the idea here is, and in my opinion, this is probably the most important part, and it takes it takes some time for you to think this through. Like, okay, what will happen next? Okay, someone is opening this email, then they will get the next email. How can I target them? How can I segment them? And in which area? As more thought process you put in there, as better you can target them later on. So and one of my favorites, like this is one of the insider, and one of my favorites I like to tag people about, or like segment people about, is the question if they bought something and if they might be raving fans. Because someone who's buying not only once but twice or 3 times, or like engaging every time you send an email, and they are like clicking on every link, and these are the people who will give you most money, because they just love you, what you're doing. So I would always want to tag when they download something, when they buy something. And after maybe 2 or 3 buys, I know this person, he's such a raving fan, I can offer him a special coaching or a special whatever thing which have a higher price, and this person might be willing to go with you because he's such a fan, because he's reading and clicking on everything you're offering. Yeah. But this process, there's no like simple way or so. This is more like depending on your niche, depending on your topic, depending on your audience. It depends. In general, what I highly can recommend everyone is to make an A/B split test for everything. So basically, when you send out an email, not only as a newsletter, like both as a newsletter as well as in these email sequences, you want to A/B split test at least the subject line. At least. Some softwares, they even offer you the possibility to split test the content and the subject line, for example. What is split testing? Very shortly, it's basically the idea of that you are, let's say you're sending out to like 1,000 subscribers an email. And the idea is 500 people get an email with this subject line and 500 people get an email with the another subject line. And depending on well, no, I'm actually, I need to correct this. Actually, like 50 people get, the first 50 people get like one subject line, the other 50 people get another subject line. And depending on which performs better, the rest of the emails get sent to with a better performing subject line. And the idea here is, if as more you can split test, as more you can test, is this subject line working or that subject line working? Is this offer working or that offer working? Is this text working or that text working? This makes a difference in the response rate, in the opening rate, in the conversion rate at the end of the day. So, and usually, not all, but pretty much all email marketing softwares, and I've been testing quite a lot of them, they offer this by default. So I highly recommend you, no matter what you do, please do A/B split testing in general with email marketing. So once this process of, and where I prefer to work offline and like work with process of like thinking it through, like what will happen when, what if, yeah, this logic. If this is clear to you, like what will happen when, then it's time. And some people would say, well, I will just put it straight away into the email marketing software. I personally prefer to do it first offline and then add these considerations into the software and make it going. So, and depending on which software you're going to use, some softwares, and this is a important thing, some softwares, they will have a flow chart and some softwares not. A flow chart is basically the same as me on the page writing something here, like making some drawings or whatever, or like using post-its, but just in a visual way on this email marketing software. So you can visually see what the person actually will do, and and this helps you to make sure that you keep your plan in mind. There are a little bit older software which don't have these flow charts, which still working, but you will not have this easy visual way of seeing it. And this is, I think this is flowchart is from ActiveCampaign, as I remember correctly, where you can set like where they ask like, hey, someone sent an email, did they open this? Yes, this will happen then. No, this will happen then. If they open this one, this will happen. If they does not open this one, this will happen. And there's a lot of complexity in it. So the idea is, because it can get complex to really consider all the thoughts, I prefer to first do it offline, just post it, for example, and then put it into my email marketing campaign. And we will not have time for today to go through this in detail, but for me, it's more important to give you the framework behind what you're doing before you're using email software like MailChimp, like ActiveCampaign, or so and so on. Well, we at Email to Reviews, we review quite a bit of tools, of softwares, and I just wrote down some of them which have this flowchart, because to me, if I do email sequences, I want to visually see what's going on here. I want to, it's for me, it's personally, it helps me better. And my personal preference is drip campaign, or like drip.com. But they are expensive. So even MailChimp have of these days, they just have a new update, and now they have these days. So I know a lot of people using MailChimp. So MailChimp is good to go. It's not the best, but it's still okay. The flowchart will cost some money. It will not be in the free version of MailChimp. But I recommend you getting a software which have this flowchart in it. So the last stage, which I recommend you, if you set a few goals, for example, you want to sell like 3 different products. You want to set up for every single product a campaign. And what I recommend you to do, the question is, so for example, and you can Google this product launch formula. There are some books out there, some ebooks out there. You can even buy a course for a lot of money. But there are like different concepts of how you can do email marketing. And one of these concepts I want to teach you is that if you make a campaign, and the campaign is about you are doing, for example, the product launch formula as a concept, where you will send out maybe 3 or 4 emails before you offer them something, and it has like some ending time when this offer ends. And then there's the question, what's next? What are you doing after people bought or not bought something from you? I recommend you to create a few campaigns, a few goals, a few things you want to sell, and combine them. So instead of sending out one campaign and then it's over and maybe someone bought or someone didn't bought you, and then you just put them into your normal default newsletter where you send out every week or every once a month something. You want to keep them engaged, and you want to keep them running. And so I recommend you to get another, to create more than one campaign, to combine these. So when someone, for example, bought a cannabis vaporizer, maybe, and this is product 1 you try to sell, maybe the next campaign could be to sell them, I don't know, special kind of weed, or I don't know what is especially interesting in that industry. Or you can use any industry, yeah. Even like, for example, for a coach, you're selling one online course, and next time you're selling selling something like an ebook, for example. And you prepare like a campaign for an online course, or you prepare a campaign for an ebook. And what you do is, once the first campaign ends, you just make sure that they get into the next campaign, so that they get the new emails. And by doing this, you are able to send them on a regular basis, every day or every few days, new things about you, which you only prepare once. And like the professional, the email marketers who are like having a lot of products online, who are selling products for like thousands of dollars, they're having so much material, so much sales topics, so much sales products, that you will get over and over and over emails from them, And if you're not interested in buying this product, maybe you're interested in buying the other product or the next product, or and so on and so on. And this is the idea of email marketing on scale, basically, that you keep them engaged long time, not only for the next week or 2 weeks, but you create over time so many campaigns that they will get busy. People will get emails for months and months and months. So 2 last questions, and maybe Shannon Dandor have some further questions. There was one question which was, how long is a good sequence? I would say 3 to 6 emails. I said it already. The main problem is that over time, let's say 1,000 people get an email, 60% opens this. That's 600 people open that email. They will get the next email. 60% open this again. That's only 400 people who get the next email, and the next and the next, and the end of the day, there are only like 100 people getting your offer. So the important thing is to not wait too long. 6 is the maximum. I prefer to say 3 to 4 before you offer them something, because people get, there are too many, like people get bored out, or they lose interest way too fast. And then the question of, well, will this email sequence help me during a holiday sale or special promotion? Well, the simple answer is yes. The advanced answer is, well, that's just another campaign, actually. Like, for example, let's say there's Black Friday and you want to sell something specifically on Black Friday. You can make a Black Friday campaign and just say, well, you send a sequence which goes out maybe a week before Black Friday, that you're going to offer this, and that there are some benefits about this product and whatever. And then there's the special date where you can buy it or not. Yeah, so making sequences, you can do it for anything, from holiday sales, from Black Friday sales, from Christmas sales, from whatever. There are unlimited possibilities. Yeah, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know what time it is now.
It's about
you have
11.
some more questions, Shannon Doa? I'm happy to answer them.
Sure. Just one question. Let's go back to the sequence stage.
Which stage?
Right here. Okay. So goals. All right. So you mentioned that you can upsell products, you can sell more of a certain product. So for a dispensary owner, if they have, a wide range of customers and they come in for various reasons, maybe pain management, maybe insomnia, perhaps they're brand new to cannabis. They've never tried it before. They want to get off of opiates or whatever other painkillers are on, or they just need something for stress relief, right? Would it be helpful to basically poll or survey your customers as a way to get them into a welcome email sequence and then segment that way?
Well, that's a very good possibility. Like, we haven't talked at all about like how to get people into a sequence, but to ask them a question, like I know quite some strategies where this is part of the sales funnel, to ask them questions, because questions actually helps you a lot to understand your customer better. And it helps you to segment them better, because you can also segment them based on how they answer. So if you have the possibility by making a quiz, for example, that's a very, very good way of getting people into a sales funnel, into our email sequence. Yeah.
Excellent. And then as far as upselling products,
Mhm.
what is the best way to introduce an upsell into a sequence? Is it um, after checkout, or is it during the checkout process, or is it better to say um, send out a sequence saying, "Hey, we appreciate you bought this item." Say they bought a vaporizer,
Mhm.
and they said that you know we know that this time of year can be a little stressful. Maybe it's during the holidays. They bought a vaporizer. It's close to the holidays. Come in for 20% off of this particular strain on this
Mhm.
day or something
Mhm.
along those lines. Is that a valid upsell, or is that more of a additional promotion?
Um, it is a valid upsell. I generally recommend you to, if you can, and a lot of softwares actually don't have the possibility to do that. So it's not, it's usually some coding to do, that you upsell while they are on the sales page, on the checkout page. This is, and you cannot sell all upsells there because they need to be very specific, are benefit for this specific product. So it's not always possible. This is the most successful one. The second most successful is on the thank you page or on the checkout, like when they say bought. Then you can still offer them something which still works. And email, and there with email you can also upsell. And with email you can upsell a little bit bigger than very, very specific on that particular vaporizer, some additional whatever. But you can sell a bit more upselling, which is maybe like even a different product or like a similar product with some special benefits or something like this. So you have more possibilities on when you're selling upselling on email comparing to on the sales page, on the checkout page.
Excellent. And then, in your experience, what have you seen as far as uh, a rise in lifetime value of a customer based on using email automation sequences versus not using email automation sequences?
Huge, huge. This is like, I mean, this was probably like a big game changer back then. Like it's like 8 years ago now, I guess. But the difference between just selling a newsletter and if you're, for example, an online shop and just selling out some 10% off newsletter or something, some products you choose this time, to really be focused and just promote one product or a specific product category and do some preparation before, it makes a spike. Well, it depends on the industry. I've seen different industries in my life, but it's between a few hundred, even I've seen 1,000% difference. Sometimes only 30-50%. So it's obviously depending on the product and what you do. But in my opinion, if you are serious about email marketing, there is no alternative to email sequences. Yeah, it's like it makes a huge difference in my experience.
Fantastic. And so, is there any closing thoughts that you have about email marketing or email sequences uh, that's kind of like burning your brain right now, that you like something that you've learned recently that you just have to share with people?
Mm. Well, I think one of the last thing I learned is that even Mailchimp, which used to be one of the older softwares, they have flowcharts these days. They are much better these days. And I know you guys use Mailchimp a lot because it used to be free and all the stuff. So it's not a big deal to get started with it, and it's not a big thing to get started. And for me, like I've been using different strategies over time. SEO, social media, all kind of variations. And for me, email marketing works best.
Fantastic. Thank you. I really appreciate your time today, coming in here and breaking this all down in a very digestible way, and giving us some great examples of how to implement email automation and email marketing and segmenting. So you really clarified a lot of things.
Thank you, Shenandoah. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.